Morning, guys. We got a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500 that I'm going to be doing the hub seals on. It's going to be short and sweet to the point. Not going to talk too much on this. Make sure you got your jack stands. Safety first. Wheels chalked in the front. I'm going to be using a 21 millimeter to take off your caliper. Need two bolts right here. Give me 1 second. One thing I forgot to do was release the brake pads, but I was able to turn this to get it knocked off. And then another thing, you can rig you something up so you can have the caliper so it's not damaging your line here. You can hang it up. I rigged this so I could have it hanging right here. All right, moving right along. All right, next we're gonna remove these flange bolts, your axle bolts. I have a 9/16 here. A 14 would normally work, but the 9/16 fits perfect. And I got this thing on a lower setting. Put it on 1 to start out with, so you don't want to break these bolts. Put it on 2. Yeah, these haven't been taken off in a while. All right, I had to come back to this because it was hard to come out. So yeah, this thing hasn't been cracked open in 18 years, so. Gotta make sure you got something to drain. Got your little drip pan right here to catch the oil when it comes out. Pull your shaft. All right, now that we got the shaft out, we're gonna move over here. Gonna pull this ring out. This little ring right here. This one don't go everywhere. Pull the ring off. Take it to the side. And you got this little Woodruff key. That's right here. And all you gotta do is get your little magnet. Comes right out like so. Now, if you have a handy dandy doodad like this, you can go ahead and pull your bolt out. And just want to show you real quick so you can gauge when you put this back on. You can count the rings where it's at. So it's about, from the main threads, it's about 1, 2, 3. 3 threads back. So you can remember for when you put it back on. And once you get your nut off, and then bearings should pop right out. And once that bearing pops out, it should be free. Get a little wiggle right there. And it should come right off like so. And it looks like these seals, nothing was wrong with this one. It looks like they're, oh, that's the bearing, but the seal is like right here. So let me see if I can get that out. Looks like we're gonna be doing this around the edges. Turn it a little bit. So I took my little pry bar, stuck it in there where I pried loose, and I just took it and it popped right out. So here's the seal. And here's this bearing. All right, got that out. Next thing is you got some thing called races down in here. You see this little lip right there? They're actually little round thingies that go in there. There's one there. That's the outer race, and this right here is going to be the inner race. I'm going to be changing those. So now I got to get them out. All right, guys, I got the races changed out. To be completely transparent here, I had to get help to do this because this is my first time doing it. So you're gonna get something, you know, saying about this long, like a crowbar type, but this end has to be flat instead of pointed. So you're gonna, this lip right here is where you're gonna place your flat surface pry bar or whatever you're going to use to hit on it. You're going to use about a 4 pound sledgehammer, and you know you're going to place it here, hit it a couple times hard here, and go all the way around, just, you know, hitting it with your sledgehammer and everything, and it'll pop out eventually. You know, you got to be, you know, spot on, because, you know, if you miss this part right here and hit your hand, that's going to be, you know, painful. So just like I said, that lip right there is where you're going to be hitting that to get it out. And I flipped it around to show you, just to show you the lip on this end over here. It's right down in here. That's that lip right there. You're going to be using that to hit it out. And just to show you how hard you have to hit it, this separates from the rotor on this model, and the whole hub can come out. You know, it was in there so good, and I was hitting on it to get it out, and that actually separated. It's not a big deal. It goes back on, you know, when you put the tire and everything back on, get everything put back together. So I'll be showing you that here in a second. And then also I'm going to be cleaning this off. Going to use some brake parts cleaner to clean it off. The rotor real good. Got that a little better looking than it was. And also I just want to point out to where I was using something to get this off. I hope that doesn't affect the seal, but yeah, when you try to rest something against this and you're hitting it, it made those two little dents right there. So hopefully it doesn't affect that, and you won't make that mistake. I just went on ahead and pulled them both out, or pulled it all the way out. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up pretty good. And as you can probably hear in the background, you can hear the wind beating up my garage door. I had to move it inside. It's Oklahoma wind, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up real fast. All right, now that I got those two cleaned out, pretty good, I'd say. Gonna flip this over, and we'll start putting the bearing in and the seal. And while we're talking about bearings and seals, I just wanted to show you the flange seal or gasket. This is the gasket part number, doorman. That's that. This is the outer bearing. You can have them cross-referenced. I got them from O'Reilly's, but you can have them cross-reference the numbers. That's the outer bearing. This is the inner seal. That's the seal. And this is the bearing cup, the race. And I apologize. I think I may have to add the picture of the inner bearing, because that wasn't in that box. I left the box somewhere, but I got a picture of it, and I'll add that picture into this video. Give me a second. All right, I got the new bearing here. What I do is take a little bit of your fluid, get it around in there a little bit, just to get it, you know, a little starter. Put some on the outside. A little bit like that. And just sit it down in there. It's in there nice and snug. All right, and that's your inner bearing. Now we're going to go ahead and get the seal put on. Use the old seal, so you won't beat the new one up too bad. Trusty 4-pound sledgehammer. You want to make sure around the edges that it's nice and snug around the edges there. Take a look at it all the way around it, and it's nice and sealed. All right. Now I'm going to move to this area right here, get it nice and cleaned up. Alrighty then. Now we're going to go ahead and get the hub put back on. We'll go through the little small steps on that. Grab our hub. Now that we have our hub situated, we're going to put a little grease on this. Or oil, I should say. And then on here, and we're gonna slide it in like so. It's in there. Now we're gonna get our ring on here. Nut, I mean, and gonna make sure it gets started on those first few things so it goes on smoothly. That's on smooth? Yep, I believe that's on smooth. All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my little tool and we'll start tightening it down. Get this on here. Tighten. 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 It's going on pretty good. Tighten. Tighten. All right, it's getting kind of tight right here. So we don't want to. Going on pretty good. All right. So that's kind of snug right there. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna take it, rotate it. Can push a little bit while you're rotating. Should be on there pretty snug. Push a bit, turn. Come back and get your little tool. That's tight enough. Don't crank it down. I don't have a torque wrench to get the proper, but this is the gist of how you get it back on here without having it too tight. Turn. We'll go back at it one more time just to see. It's still kind of tight. It's really tight. All right, as you can see, I got that on there pretty good and tight. Can't crank down on it too much. Now we're gonna just, as you can see right there, your little notch. It needs to be lined up with this. So I got it tightened. We'll loosen it up a little bit to where it's not so tight. Then you're gonna back it off a little bit. Till it's right there. It's a Woodruff key. Slide it on in. And if you remember from the first part of the video that I had mentioned these first part, 3 threads, it was that. So we'll kind of gauge it a little bit. Get them on there. There's 1, 2, 3. I believe I had gauged it at the third one, and it's on the third one. These are the first ones you started on right here, but this is the main 3. 1, 2, 3. It's right there. Now you get your retaining ring. Back up a little bit. Get your retaining ring. Make sure that these 2 parts right here, this part is there. You don't want to go, huh? Now this thing wants to be funny. There. That on there pretty good. That's on there. Flows a little free. I believe that's in there. All right, let's go ahead and get this rotor back on. Caliper back on. Now I gotta get this old gasket off. This is gonna be a challenge here. Didn't want to let up. So I gotta mess with this off camera. Was able to get some of it off. Got to go around there and get that scraped off and get it cleaned up. All right, got that all nice and cleaned up. Put it on. I want to make sure we get our gasket on. We want to make sure we guide it in there. Make sure it catches. There, it caught. Make sure you're lined up. There it is. Pretty good. All right. And start put our bolts on. All right, here I'm just tightening these flange bolts back down. Just ensure you don't over tighten them. I don't have my torque wrench, so just do not over tighten them, crank down on them because they're very sensitive. All right, guys, the only other thing left to do now is to drain the differential fluid, change it, replace it with new fluid. And that concludes this video for the 2006 Dodge Ram 2500. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and that'll be all. Thank you very much for watching this video, and you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Oh, and the differential fluid is 75/90 weight.